Chapter 25. The food in my stomach instantly sours. Mike knows. He blocks my path to the bedroom door. His hands are in the front pockets of his jeans. He's amused. You came back, he states the obvious. Mike Edwards knows. Bathroom, I say, getting my own obvious statement out there. Plus, I forgot my phone. Retreating to the far side of his bed, I scoop up my old flip phone. I wave it at Mike before shoving it in my pocket. Nah, I know what this is really about. He closes the space between us, sauntering, actually, full of himself. Shit, okay, how do I get out of this? Shout? Knee his pajog? Or do both? Mike stops in front of me. I close my eyes, bracing for him to tell me that I'm a rotten spy looking for dirt on his dad. Wet lips mash against mine. What the hell? I push him away. What? Mike sounds as surprised as me. You've been hanging all over me tonight. I quickly replay my words and actions. Shit, I did hang on his every word, just not for the reason he thinks. I saw your face. You're jealous I'm taking Macy to Shagala, Mike says. He appears genuinely confused. And we aren't teammates anymore. But we're friends, I say, ever since you made the best travel teams with Levi. You were friends with TJ before you guys started snagging. TJ wasn't part of Hockey World, I point out. Is it because I'm younger? What? No, yes, no. I'm still trying to make sense of the conversation. I've known you forever. You're like a brother to me. I am not your brother, he says evenly. But Levi, believe me when I tell you I'm not afraid of Levi. This could be our own little secret. That smirk. I instantly know what Call Me Grant looked like at 17. Jamie, I remember only now that I already have a boyfriend. I'm dating Jamie, I say primly. I don't see that going the distance. Seems like someone who's here for a season or two and moves on. Maybe I don't want to stick around either. Really? He laughs as if I've said something ridiculous. I figured you bailed on leaving because you're like royalty around here, connected to everybody. Out there. He gestures to somewhere beyond. You're nobody. Is Mike right? Is that how it appears to other people? I've always felt a step outside the inside, both in town and on the res. I'm not interested in you. Not like that. I grasp for a lifeline. But there's lots of girls who do think of you that way. Is it because you think you're too good for me? His voice lowers menacingly. Because you're not, better than me. This Mike, instantly aggressive, scares me. I scramble for the right words to diffuse his escalating anger. Nothing comes to mind. I want Jamie to come looking for me right now. My dad's right, he hisses. Girls are just distractions. I thought you were different, but you're not. With a look of disgust, he turns and leaves. This wasn't how I envisioned tonight going. I thought I knew Mike Edwards, my brother's goofy friend and teammate, my former teammate, the tech-savvy guy who set up my new phone tonight. I know that guy. But the one who kissed me and refused to listen to any of my refusals? I don't know who that person is. Is this what will happen over the course of the meth investigation? I'll learn things about everybody I thought I knew. Back upstairs, I stand next to the kitchen island on the edge of the living room. The video is still going. Everyone cheers when Mike blocks a Hail Mary last-second shot by the mud bugs. Jamie approaches. His eyebrows are raised like antennae, detecting concern. Everything okay? He says into my ear. I nod and he continues. Then can I put my arm around you? I nod again, this time meaning it. His arm slides around to rest casually on my hip. I lean into him, suddenly exhausted. When it's time to go, Mrs. Edwards returns my mother's crystal bowl, now washed. I thank her for a nice evening. I avoid looking at Mike when the guys do a round of fist bumps. See you bright and early, Levi says. I don't want to be around Mike, especially during my morning run. Hey, I say, I want to increase my mileage, so I gotta slow my pace. But don't let me hold yous back. I'll go on my own. Can I join you? Jamie asks me. Ditching us for a girl? Come on, man, Levi says with a huge smile. I'd really like that, I say. I sit in the back with Jamie for the ride home. He reaches for my hand. I don't pull back. Mike's parents do this every Sunday night? Jamie asks me. Yep, every Sunday during hockey season. Last year it was for our varsity hockey games. I'd have Sunday dinner at the big house in the afternoon and have second dinner at the Edwardses in the evening. Do Mike's dad and Coach Bobby always do their routine? Yep, dinner and the show, I say. Jamie laces his fingers through mine. My body does the opposite of tensing up. I melt from a solid state to liquid. The dessert your mom made was my favorite. Please let her know. Your real favorite, I tease. My real favorite. He squeezes my hand. Man, how cool to analyze the games we just played and their house. I've never been in a place like that. It was like something from a magazine. Do you think we'll get invited back? I can't help but smile. Jamie has the same level of enthusiasm as a kid experiencing Disney World for the first time. He's played on plenty of hockey teams, I'm sure, and been to plenty of team dinners. What is it about the Sioux Superiors that's so fascinating to him? When Ron pulls into my driveway, I ask if he's tried the new car wash on the business spur. That's our code for asking if it's safe to talk about the investigation in his car. He nods. I took pictures of every bookshelf in Mr. Edwards' home office in the basement. I reach into my bra and feel Jamie shift awkwardly next to me. I roll my eyes as I pull out the camera. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to dig around for any client files that he might be keeping at home instead of in his office. His desk used to be my grandfather's, and I thought the key to the file drawers would be where I remembered, but it wasn't. Ron gives me a long look before saying, "This is helpful. Thank you." I say goodnight and grab the dessert bowl. Jamie gets out too, and we walk together to the front steps. Should I kiss you in case your mom is watching? He whispers. The front entry light turns on. We laugh. Jamie leans in. His kiss lands on my jaw instead of my cheek. Holy! I drag out the word. I thought Soups had way better aim than that. His back is to Ron's car. I'm the only one who sees Jamie's full smile reach his eyes and tug at his scar. I want to kiss it. Instead of analyzing the impulse, I give in. Osmosis combustion. My lips brush his cheek, feeling for the ripple in the smoothness. Jamie's breath catches, sending a delicious tingle through my body. I kiss him. One perfect, soft kiss that moves as his scar is pulled taut from a smile I feel but cannot see. I leave Jamie on my sidewalk as I scale the 3 front steps in a single leap. Jamie isn't in my driveway the next morning. It's not like him to be late. I've been looking forward to running only with him, especially since kissing him last night. What if he didn't like it? I recall feeling his smile mid-kiss. He liked it. I focus on my prayer. This morning, I asked for Gwe Kawa Deziwin. The irony is not lost on me. Praying for honesty as I deceive people today. Flakes of sema land on yellow leaves at the base of the poplar tree. Leaves falling. The first day of autumn is this week. The fall colors peak early in the UP. The first snowfall generally happens anytime between early October and late December. My birthday is October 1st, less than 2 weeks away. Shit, the weather could disrupt my mushroom hunting at any time. I finish stretching in the driveway as Jamie jogs toward my house. You're late, I say, meeting him in the road. He mumbles an apology but provides no details. We head in the opposite direction from our usual route. The less I see of Mike Edwards, the better. My pace is close to what we've been maintaining with the guys since fall semester began. Thought you were going for distance, Jamie says. He keeps up with me easily, barely winded. Change of plans. Need to get to Duck Island. Look for mushrooms before everything covered in leaves. You're skipping class? Think of it as independent study on fungi. We run upriver toward Sherman Park. It feels good to push myself this hard. The faster we finish, the sooner I can get to the island. I don't think you should skip classes, he says as we loop around the parking lot next to a playground along the waterfront. Why are you still thinking about it? Because, Donis, When the investigation is finished, you should go back to your life. Put this and everybody involved out of your mind. Play hockey at Michigan or go somewhere new. Don't let this investigation change everything for you. I halt. The nerve of Jamie giving me advice about change when he's the one who changed. From last night to today. My anger has an afterburn of embarrassment as I recall impulsively kissing his scar last night. What? He says, jogging back to me. His clueless expression infuriates me. Everything is changed. I take pleasure in Jamie flinching at my words. It changed the instant Travis shot Lily. I managed to say between breaths, no, before that. When he pulled the gun from his jeans. No, when my uncle died. Or when he began acting strangely because he was helping use. I stare coldly at him, and there is no college hockey for me. Jamie thinks I should play hockey at U of M. As if my life could ever go back to the before. Why is that? That info is off limits to you. I repeat his words from the meth weekend in Marquette. He doesn't get to know about the foolish decision that changed my future. After all, Jamie is only here temporarily. Once the investigation is finished, he will go back to his life too. I sprint the rest of the way home. Unlike the night he chased me down a dark road on Sugar Island, Jamie doesn't catch up. This time, he lets me go. My mother is walking to her car when I finish my run. She blows a kiss to me so as not to get drenched by my sweat. When Mom reverses out of the driveway, she rolls down her window to wave at Jamie, who waves back. My girl bested you today, she declares proudly. She sure did. His smile is pleasant, but doesn't tug at his scar. Jamie doesn't join my cool down, but he also doesn't leave. He stands there, watching me. Donis, I think I should run with the guys from now on. Oh, more change. Don't let the pretender know he got under your skin, I tell myself. They're starting to treat me like more than just a teammate, he says quickly. It would be good for me to hear their stories, get more info that could help the investigation. Sure, I say, keeping my voice breezy. No problem. I motion awkwardly toward my house. Well, I gotta shower and catch the ferry. Hallucinogenic mushrooms await. I don't look back as I limp up the front steps. Hallucinogenic mushrooms await? You're such a geek. Lily, I think my fake relationship is over for reals. I make good progress by Friday late morning. Not that I found an unknown mushroom, but I'm near the north end. I could finish today, if not for three things. First, the leaves are slowing me down. Every day this week, there have been more leaves on the ground, a magnificent carpet of color that makes it take longer to get through each cross section. Second, I stop each day at 11, race to the ferry, pick up Granny June on the mainland, and bring her to lunch as usual. My break costs me nearly 3 hours of prime daylight. It's worth every minute. I made a bargain with myself. I can be deceitful about my whereabouts, let people assume I'm at class or in the library, as long as I take care of Granny and help the elders. I avoid Auntie, because I'm not a good enough actor to maintain my deception in front of her. She texts and calls every day, asking me to come over. Each time, I text back a false excuse. Studying, spending time with Jamie, doing something for Granny June or my mother. It's hard, and I miss sleeping over with Pauline and Perry, but I know that she would immediately sniff out that something was off. Auntie doesn't miss a thing. Today, there's a third reason keeping me from completing my mushroom research. I need to catch the ferry as soon as lunch is served to meet Ron at the loading spot for the booster bus. It's a 5-hour trip to Green Bay, Wisconsin, where every team in the league participates in a showcase weekend of games. Operation Secret Squirrel is going on the road. Granny June and I enter the dining room, which seems more crowded than usual. They must be serving liver and onions today. I don't know why Spongy Cow Organ always brings every Nokomis and Mishomis from all corners of Chippewa County. It just does. I freeze upon seeing Auntie next to Minnie Mustang. The room falls silent. Everyone watches me. Even Seanie Nimke eyeballs me from across the room. Auntie motions me over. Shit. This looks like an intervention. What the hell did I do? Chapter 26. After a quick hug, Auntie motions for me to sit down. I need to get Granny's coffee and lunch, I say. No, my girl, Granny June says. You need to sit down. Granny's part of the intervention? Shit times infinity. Chimo. What if this is about the investigation? How much do they know? What is the least amount of truth I can say before it feels like a lie? Auntie places a large yellow envelope in front of me. Huh? What's this, Auntie? Just open it, she says. I didn't want to do this here, but you've been avoiding me. Guilt makes my cheeks feel hot. I open the envelope and 2 pictures fall out. My heart skips when I glimpse 2 children skating with a large man. A color photograph of Dad with Levi and me. I search for his jade green scarf, but it's not there. The other is a black and white photo of my father holding me on his lap. I'm a baby, my dark hair sticking up, big eyes, pale skin contrasting with his. He's looking at me and smiling. Speechless, I meet Auntie's eyes. Turn it over, she says. It's my father's distinctive handwriting. He wrote 1 word on the back, Adonis. Putting the N in front of the word adds the possessive, my daughter. Josette found them when she was cleaning her mom's attic. Great Aunt Nancy had some round tins full of old photographs. Go on, Auntie nudges me. I slide a stack of documents from the envelope. The one on top makes me gasp. Application for tribal enrollment, special circumstances. Auntie nods, urging me to look at the papers. A notarized letter from my mother explains that she was a minor when she gave birth, and her parents refused to include my father's name on the birth certificate. Affidavits from Theodora Sarah Firekeeper Birch, Josette Elaine Firekeeper, and Norman Marshall Firekeeper, who has written his nickname, Monk, in parentheses, because no one has used his given name since the priest baptized him. There's a Firekeeper family tree with the 3 relatives' names highlighted. Auntie labeled each with the official relationship. I never knew Cousin Josette is my second cousin once removed, or that Monk is actually my great uncle, even though he is a year younger than Auntie. All 3 have attested that Donis Lorenza Fontaine is the biological daughter of Levi Joseph Firekeeper Sr. You have until your 19th birthday to file the application, along with a paternity test that you and I take to verify lineage, Auntie says. My birthday is October 1st, 7 days away. I have wanted this ever since I understood that being Anishinaabe and being an enrolled citizen weren't necessarily the same thing. My mind races, remembering Granny's unsuccessful efforts to get this for Lily. I can become a member. Except, it changes nothing about me. I am Anishinaabe. Since my first breath, even before when my new spirit traveled here, I will be Anishinaabe even when my heart stops beating and I journey to the next world. My whole life, I've been seeking validation of my identity from others. Now that it's within reach, I realize I don't need it. Miigwech. I take a deep breath. But I don't need a card to define me. I know you don't, Donis, but think about it, Auntie says. This is a gift from your dad. I sit with that. I have his facial features, his height, his skill on the ice. Mom says I have his laugh. My father has given me many gifts. All I ever wanted was more time with him. Once, during the 3 months that I was TJ's girlfriend, I was at his house for the Packers-Lions game. TJ's little sister, Tila, snuggled next to their dad on the sofa, laying her head on his chest. Everyone was cheering loudly, but she fell asleep listening to her daddy's steady heartbeat. I'd hungered for that moment for myself. Granny says, your decision isn't just about you. It's for your children, grandchildren. People say to think 7 generations ahead when making big decisions, because our future ancestors, those yet to arrive, who will one day become the elders, live with the choices we make today. The investigation. I think back to Ron's suggestion that enrollment could help my efforts. Could he be right? I feel ashamed for allowing the thought to flicker, even for a second. Another thought vies for brain space. As he reminded me this morning, Jamie is here temporarily. The FBI is concerned only with what's happening right now. They cannot fathom that their actions might have far-reaching effects. Maybe it's even more important for me to be part of the investigation because I'm the only one thinking 7 generations ahead. Okay, I nod. I want to enroll. Auntie breaks into a smile. I've missed seeing it. There's one more requirement, my aunt says. You need 3 affidavits from tribal elders who are not related or who are more distantly related than 3rd degree. My mind scrambles through people who might come through for me. Granny June, for sure. Minnie, too. Maybe I can ask John C. Keewaydon. Sini Nimke approaches the table. She places a paper in front of me. It's an affidavit attesting my parentage with her signature, certified by Judge Dana Firekeeper. I try to speak, but the words get stuck in my throat. I stand and hug her. She pats my back gruffly. When Sini releases me, Granny hands me a second affidavit. I blink repeatedly, not to conjure my dad, but because through my tears I can barely see the line of people forming behind Granny June and Minnie. My application for tribal enrollment will include 26 elder affidavits. I alternate between grinning and sobbing all the way to Chimakwa Arena. The cargo hold doors are already closed, so I leap onto the booster bus with my overnight bag in hand. The booster's treasurer takes my check for transportation, community refreshments, and 2 nights lodging. I pause, wondering if the rumors are true, and she's about to hand me a non-disclosure agreement to sign. You're all set. Go find a seat. She cracks open a beer and offers it to me. Her nephew graduated with me. She knows I'm not 21. I accept it. Someone shouts my name from the back of the bus. Call Me Grant motions toward an empty seat near him. I scan for any other option and am delighted to see that Ron saved a seat for me. The team left yesterday. The players, still in high school, have special schedules where attendance rules take a backseat to hockey schedules. Ron's request for a half-day substitute teacher was approved without any fuss because special allowances always get made when it comes to hockey. Most of the boosters are Zaganash. I see only 2 tribal members. I tell Ron there's a caravan of RVs following the bus, and a good number of those are filled with Nishnabs who prefer their own campers and trailers. Why is that? Ron asks, surveying the 50 or so people drinking and chatting amiably. When the bus speakers blast out the opening piano chords of Journey's Don't Stop Believin', 4 rows of women lose their shit, squealing and jumping up and down. That's why. I point with my lips toward them. More than a few are Ardi Gishkuebi, and we haven't even left the city limits. I've heard enough stories to know. Ron snickers and gives a discreet eye roll. I whisper, some of them are the same ones who say Indians can't hold their liquor or that PERCAP doesn't buy class. One of the ladies is so overcome by the magic of Steve Perry's vocals that she flashes a truck driver next to the bus as we head south on I-75. Everyone cheers when the trucker blasts his horn in appreciation. I laugh at Ron's astonished expression. I'm still giddy, riding a wave of happiness as I replay the memory of each elder handing me an affidavit and hugging me. It is a feeling so profound, there must be a word in Anishinaabe Moen for it. Nouns in the language are either animate, living, or inanimate. I'll ask Auntie if feelings are animate too, because this one has good energy to it. As the ride continues, I grab a book from my bag. According to the American Literature syllabus, there will be an essay due next week on the sound and the fury. I spend the next 2 hours attempting to read. From the corner of my eye, I catch Ron observing me. What? I say, closing the book. You haven't turned a page in 20 minutes, he remarks. Well, this is crazy hard to get through. It's someone's stream of consciousness. His thoughts go everywhere and time jumps around. It's so hard to follow. Lily was supposed to help me dive beneath the surface to find the deeper meanings. Benji, Ron names the narrator of the book's first section. My jaw drops. You know Faulkner? Time is a theme, Donis. Benji's thoughts aren't bound by time, but his brother Quentin is tethered to it. Whoa. There it is, the deeper meaning beyond my grasp. Does everyone understand except me? Stories should go from A to B to C, I say. Maybe it's the scientist in you, wanting everything to follow a precise sequence. Uh-huh. You're a scientist too, Ron. Plus, why is order a bad thing? Like taxonomy, categorizing living and extinct organisms by an 8-level classification system: domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Same with the periodic table of elements. Rules are a good thing. How can you trust the unknown? Ron smiles. Non-linear thinking can be disjointed, like Benji's thoughts. But if you step back or follow it to the end, sometimes it comes full circle. I say, unconvinced. Maybe the point is patience. Trust that the answers will be revealed when you're ready. Surprised, I turn away and pretend to bury myself back in my book, blinking back tears as the bus crosses into Wisconsin. We just had a conversation that had nothing to do with the investigation. Ron reminds me of Uncle David, who always took time to explain things I didn't understand. I don't recall thinking about my uncle today. Does that mean my grief is shrinking? Will there come a day when Lily isn't part of my everyday thinking? Grief is a cruel and sneaky bastard. You love a person and then they're gone. Past tense. You forget them for an hour, a day, a week. How is that even possible? It happens because memories are fickle. They can fade. I wanted to help the investigation for Lily. Now my motives seem less clear. I'm terrified at the thought of the world and me going on without Lily. The rest of the bus ride is like a fog. It doesn't lift until I'm sitting in the bleachers at the game, when Call Me Grant plants himself next to me. Mrs. Edwards doesn't travel to away games leading up to Shagala, which is quickly approaching. It's her busiest and favorite time of year. I know he won't try anything with Ron sitting next to me, but I still do my best to ignore him. Instead, I focus on the conversations around me. When I overhear someone behind me mention per cap, my ears perk up. It happens all the time. I overhear some Zuganash talking about the tribe in general, or some particular niche. And what they say about my tribal community when they think no one is listening, it is never good. Now's my window to walk away before actually hearing anything. I prepare to leave, but realize I'd need to climb over Ron and a bunch of people to my left or Call Me Grant on my right to escape. Shit. Tina Shino's boy, says one of the guys. I recognize him as the attorney who once offered his services to ensure that I received my fair share of Grandpa Lorenzo's estate. I told him to go to hell. He must mean Ryan Shino, a guy I graduated with. Ryan is a smarmy jerk, always saying shit about Nishnabs, wanting you to explain why tribal members can hunt at different times than allowed by state law, or pay a reduced price for gas that doesn't include the state taxes. I've watched Nish kids try to explain about treaty rights, which he would loudly declare outdated legal concepts as antiquated as fiefdoms and feudalism. The more frustrated and angry they become, the more smug Ryan seems, as if his goal isn't to become enlightened, but rather to make you waste your time and energy. No kidding, someone chimes in. When's his hearing? October 4th. Their enrollment committee forwarded it to Tribal Council for action. He had to file his case before he turned 19. Ryan Chanot is applying for membership in the tribe? Now I'm hanging on to every word, even as they twist my insides. I didn't know Ryan's dad was Joey Noden, says one of the guys. Yeah, Tina Chanot didn't want anyone knowing either. Joey'd have fought for custody of that per cap check, too. Can you blame her? They all laugh. Kid just hit the lottery. More laughter. You get any of his winnings? Someone asks. The lawyer answers. Percentage of his per cap for 10 years. They cheer. Someone claps him on the back. I don't realize my hands are clenched until Ron pats my arm. He gives me a look of understanding. He heard too. Unclenching my fists, I try focusing on the game. But my mind goes to Lily. Each tribe has the sovereign right to determine who is a member. My best friend couldn't get enrolled because of the way the Sugar Island Ojibwe tribe's enrollment office calculated Indian blood quantum. Fractions of Indian blood based on lineage. Granny June's first husband was from a First Nations band in Canada, so Lily's pedigree didn't meet the standard. Too many ancestors from across the river, not the right kind of Indian blood. Granny filed an appeal with tribal council, telling them, "No one told me I wasn't supposed to snag on that side of the river." We were here before that border existed. Every one of you's got cousins over there. But council rejected her appeal for Lily's membership application. If I submit my documentation before October 1st, Tribal Council will vote on my and Ryan's applications at their next official meeting. His identity is not my concern, I remind myself. Instead, I remember the joy that grew inside me with each hug from my elders. I wish Lily had known a moment like that. When Ron and I walk back to the bus for the ride to the hotel, he deliberately slows his steps to separate us from the boosters. I hope you can understand, Donis, why I told Jamie it might be better to cool it with the boyfriend-girlfriend act, Ron says quietly. Huh? Is that why Jamie acted strange on Monday and has been so standoffish this week? I consider my response to Ron. I'm thinking like a secret squirrel. I want information without giving anything in return. You're gonna need to explain it to me, I say in my best Ryan Cheneau imitation. Undercover operatives, especially young field agents, sometimes get too enthusiastic about their assignments. They develop emotional connections with suspects or informants. It happens often enough that senior field agents, like me, know what to look for. Ron waits for me to say something. When I don't, he stops walking. What I saw Sunday night? At least one of you was not acting.